Hello and welcome to Leo's Turkish Coffee Blog. In this I'm going to talk about the assorted coffees and whatnot that we picked up whilst we were in Istanbul. We're going to start off with the Kuraveci, which I've probably pronounced wrong, I do apologise. And this is one of the more well-known Turkish coffee brands. We also have Gigi, who's very interested. And indeed the lovely Omeka-chan snaked me a pack of Kuraveci from our local Middle Eastern supermarket. The first one is one that we actually picked up in a supermarket. And this is just like 50p for a wee 100-gram bag. And I quite like the fact that they do these small packets so that you can just chop and change and just try different types, which is quite cool. So that's the first one. The next two that we got from the actual Kuraveci stall, which is by the absolute insanity that is the Spice Bazaar. Now this is an espresso brand, so I thought, that sounds quite nice, and it's something a little bit different. They also had some freshly ground coffee, which they were packaging up, which you got as wee bags there. And to be honest, it was all a bit overwhelming, and I would have liked to have spent a bit more time, hello Gigi, looking at this, but it was just so unbelievably busy, we just didn't have the chance. It was very much a, I'll have that, and that was my lot, unfortunately. So, next up we have some Tahiri Vaharminda, which is another coffee book, and again we have Gigi because it's a bag, of course he's interested. This is another coffee stall that actually, weirdly enough, is just over the walkway path, street, whatever you call it, from the Kuraveci, which is at the Spice Bazaar. However, interestingly, they actually were selling coffee, so you were able to have some of the, you can now hear Gigi in another bag, sorry, you can actually have some of the coffee. Now with this, there were two types that we got. The first one is their Ottoman blend, which actually smelled really nice. Just something just a little bit different. I'm not entirely sure what makes it Ottoman, but they had these large glass jars filled with coffee, which was really cool. And yeah, the guys running the stall were doing really well in the face of the absolute insanity that was far too many people crammed into too short a space, but never mind. The other one which we got, which isn't labelled, but that is a pistachio flavoured coffee, and it really does smell of pistachio, something amazing. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to trying that. And so those were the coffees that we got at the Spice Bazaar. Next up we have some coffee from Kahve Danyazi. Now this was in the northern European part of Istanbul, where we went for the day, and to say that this is an impulse purchase is an understatement. We're literally walking past and Ivy pointed out, oh, they've got coffee in there, and one of the people behind the counter saw me looking, going in an interested fashion, and motioned and gesticulated furiously for me to come in, and then basically convinced me that I needed to buy some of their coffee. So I did. So unfortunately the coffee bag itself is unbranded, it's just a plain bag, but they've roasted it. It smells really nice, and that's probably going to be the first one that I have. The main problem being because the poly seal at the top of it isn't the best, and it's leaked a couple of times already, so that's going to be the first one to go to. But don't really have a problem with that because it smelled really nice. So next up we have the remainder of the coffees that were bought, and these were bought from various different places in and around Istanbul. Actually most of them in the north as well. Starting off with this, which is hazelnut coffee, which was actually bought in a health food store of all places. I know, hazelnut coffee in a health food store, who'd have thought? Either way, just picked it up, gave it a wee bit of a smell, I was like, oh, that smells amazing. Even Ivy thought it smells amazing, and she really doesn't like coffee, and that is saying something. Next up we have some Kenyan coffee, which was from a lovely wee place called Voi that we went to, and they had their own coffee branded on the wall and whatnot, and so it was like, ooh. But it turns out that it's just that's just advertising. So, but the guy who I was talking to, who I had an animated conversation about coffee for several minutes, really recommended the Kenyan, and he then said, you need to come back and try the Ethiopian. But I didn't have the heart to tell him that we were leaving the day after next, so I didn't. But yeah, really looking forward to that. The next one we have Ajan, which we picked up in, I want to say, a health food store as well, which also sold vegan things, which was one of the few places we came across. Interestingly enough, they actually have their own wee stall just up from the madness that is the Spice Bazaar. But every time that we went past there, it was actually closed. So here's a chance to have another sort of Turkish brand, so to speak, of coffee. And then last off, we have the other coffee which I picked up at the health food store. And again, this seems something a wee bit different, and it was quite cheap as well. So yeah, let's just try as many different coffees as we possibly can, because hey, why not? I like coffee. So, last and by no means least, the actual means with which to cook Turkish coffee. Turkish coffee, or hot sand coffee, literally has these wee pots in a heated container filled with sand, and that's what they use to heat up the coffee. And it's just put in with, it's normally, they're a wee bit smaller, with some water and 2 heaped teaspoonfuls of ground coffee, which then bubbles up, and you then pour it into a wee almost espresso type cup. So as you can see, this is a lot bigger than those ones. However, the first one that you've seen is the traditional Sesame, and I was determined I tells you, to get one at the Grand Bazaar, because I thought that would be really cool. But to be honest, all the ones that we came across in the Grand Bazaar were really cheap, thin, and it felt like if you pressed them in with any amount of force, they would actually bend out of shape. Good ting though, really good ting. So this is a slightly more substantial one that we got from a shop literally just a stone's throw from the Grand Bazaar, and I think that was about 40 Turkish lira, which is about £6. We were seeing the ones that looked more or less identical in the Grand Bazaar, but they wanted anywhere from 100 to 200 lira for it. So I'm glad that common sense prevailed, and that was like, no, it's an awful lot of money for something that just doesn't seem as well made as I would like. Then, a day later, we're in a supermarket, and Ivy spots a more modern Sebze, which is stainless steel. Again, really well made though. And this one was a whacking 14 lira, which means that it's not even £2. And chances are she'll end up nicking this, because her first thing she said when she said was, oh, that looks really good. That'll be perfect for chai. So I've got a traditional Sebze and a modern Sebze, or more accurately, I've got a coffee and a chai one. So thank you very much for watching. I will undoubtedly do you a video at some point of me actually making coffee using these. So thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe. Also don't forget to check us out on Patreon, and we will see you next time.